Ladies and gentlemen, this came out on BBC News February 1st, 2019. Polar vortex death toll rises to 21. It's going to be higher than that, y'all. I can tell you that right now because in the Midwest, there were reports of thousands of people without power. And it was during the first day of this major bitter cold snap that hit the Midwest. And they lost their power around the time when it was like minus 60, minus 65, So when all of this finally dissipates, you're going to see the death toll rise a lot higher than 21. Many people cannot withstand these types of temperatures, and most of the heating systems in homes, they can't handle minus 60 outside. Your house is going to be ice cold on the inside. You know, most people had to stay under covers in their bed in order to stay warm. They really couldn't move about in their house that much. It was just too damn cold. So, US cold snap continues. It's still cold here, and this is our last day. Tomorrow it's going to be close to 40 degrees. That's going to feel balmy compared to what we've gone through over these past few days. 90 million people, a third of the US, have seen temperatures of minus 17 or below. Some 250,000 Americans overall have experienced the polar vortex conditions. Hospitals have been treating patients, reporting frost bites as parts of the country ground to a halt. Temperatures are expected to swing to above over the weekend. Yes, it's going to go above average, which is above freezing, finally, because this has been deadly, man. I mean, it has been bitterly cold. Who are the victims? Homeless people who have been particularly at risk, with warming shelters set up across the cities. And it's very difficult getting them off of the streets, even in these conditions. And it's because they have shelters set up, but there's no security at these shelters. People get robbed, beaten, raped, and killed in homeless shelters. That's why many of these homeless people remain on the streets, and they will tell you they're safer on the streets than they are in those homeless shelters. So it's a hard challenge getting them in. They don't want to be there. But some will still brave the freezing conditions, and one woman aged 60 was found dead in an abandoned house in Lorain, Ohio. A hospital in Chicago already treated 50 patients for frostbite, and some may end up losing a limb, CNN reports. Half of those patients were homeless individuals, while others had jobs that required them to be outdoors. They should not have required anybody to be outdoors when it was minus 60. That is outrageous for any job to have that expectation. Not unless you're trying to rescue people. But other than that, no, you should, they should call off a lot of this stuff. Some people were found dead in a short walk from their homes. Yeah, you die in minutes out in these kind of conditions. A Michigan man who froze to death in his neighborhood has been inadequately dressed for the weather, officials say. I don't know. I don't know if any of us can adequately dress for this weather in the Midwest or Northeast. Well, you have a coat and some mittens and hats and stuff, earmuffs maybe. In a wind chill of minus 46 or minus 51 Fahrenheit. An 18-year-old student was found unresponsive a short walk from his dorm on Wednesday and later died in hospital. On Tuesday, a man froze to death in a garage in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yeah, I spoke about that briefly, having apparently collapsed after shoveling snow. according to a medical examiner. Why would you go out and shovel snow in sub-zero temperatures? Wow. Some people just don't use common sense. Dangerous roads have also been a factor in deaths. A man was fatally struck by a snowplow near Chicago on Monday. And in northern Indiana, a 22-year-old police officer and his wife died after a collision on icy roads. What is the forecast? The icy cold is expected to loosen its grip on Friday. Well, I tell you what, it ain't loosened much of a grip here where I am, but okay. Chicago could see temperatures as high as 10 Celsius or 50 Fahrenheit. It's going to be at least 60 degrees swing for Chicago. Dave Hamrick, a National Weather Service forecaster, told Reuters news agency. And you can see in the purple, these were the areas that were the heaviest affected by this polar vortex in the purple. The blue was also cold, but not as cold. But I'm in the purple. So you can see how much of the country was impacted. I mean, this thing ain't no joke. The sudden weather change coming this weekend may be the fastest warm up on record, meteorologists say. But as the temperature abruptly turned warmer, the U.S. emergency officials warn of flooding and utility risk. Pipes can burst with such temperature fluctuations, and rapidly melting snow and ice could cause flooding. The Federal Emergency Management Agency cautioned. And yes, I mean, it is notorious for pipes to burst. How cold did it get? More than 30 record lows were broken across the Midwest. Cotton, Minnesota was the coldest place in the U.S. on Thursday, with a low of minus 48 Celsius or minus 56 Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's pretty damn cold based on preliminary data. Chicago passed the record for low for the 31st of January, while Mount Carroll has probably beaten the Illinois record with a morning temperature of minus 38 Fahrenheit. And you can see a tweet right here from the National Weather Service, Chicago. The official low temperature at Chicago this morning was minus 21. This shatters the previous record for January 31st, which was minus 12 Fahrenheit, set back in 1985. In records that date back to the 1870s, this is only the 15th time Chicago has seen a daily low this cold or colder. Yesterday was the 14th. So that tweet was on January 31st. And you can see they were trying to burn the tracks in Chicago in order to melt the ice that was on, so the trains can keep running. That's why you see the flames. They did that deliberately. Cities across Iowa have also broken temperature records. So you can see right here, I don't know if I can make this bigger for you to see. Okay, never mind. It's just taking so long. Let me see if I can zoom in so y'all can see this. All right, there's a lot of buffering here. Okay, let me just read this because there's so much going on. Des Moines new record, it was minus 20 Fahrenheit. The previous was 17. Okay, here we go. It's zooming in now so you guys can see this. Here we go. So you can see the chart. And you have Waterloo, minus 25, previous record, minus 24 in 1951. Mason City, minus 28, minus 26 in 1951. Esterville, minus 29, new record, and previous record, minus 27 in 1899. Ames, minus 22 Fahrenheit, minus 15 in 1996. Lamani, minus 20 and minus 16, 1965. So this is all record breaking. Ottumwa, minus 21 Fahrenheit, and in 1936 they were at minus 17. So new records broken all the way around in Iowa. Those are pretty damn cold temperatures. The chill drifted eastward on Thursday, bringing sub-zero temperatures to northeastern cities such as Boston. And look at that. This is the frozen Chicago River. Look at that. With wind chill factor in temperatures of minus 40 Celsius or minus 40 Fahrenheit. In the Midwest and Great Lakes have felt closer to minus 63 Fahrenheit, which is enough to cause frostbite in less than 5 minutes. And that's why so many people ended up with frostbite. Okay, so how is the cold snap affecting daily life? The Arctic weather could cost the U.S. billions of dollars. In 2014, a similar polar vortex freeze cost the country an estimated $5 billion. CBS News report. In Minnesota and Michigan, residents were asked by gas companies to turn down their home thermostat to help handle heat demands. Consumers, energy, a natural gas provider in Michigan had a fire on Wednesday morning that damaged equipment and temporarily affected how much gas could be sent out to customers. Yeah, unfortunately, you got to plan that stuff ahead when these things are going to happen. Native American tribes in northern Midwest states help their members obtain heating supplies as many live in poor quality housing. Yeah, they shouldn't be in poor quality housing, but they are. And you can see it was so cold, people were able to take their pants outside and stand them up in the snow, in the cold temperature. I mean, that looks crazy, but it was that cold. It was that cold. You could do that. And this is not the first. I saw a few other pictures like that in other locations. So you can see people were showing you how cold it really was. You could go out, your pants would freeze, and you could actually position your pants to stand up. Now that's cold, y'all. That is cold. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. I personally cannot wait for the weekend because I am sick and tired of feeling bone-chilling cold, especially when I have to step outside. It is really unfortunate that many people lost their lives, and believe me, the death toll is going to rise, and it's going to be a lot of people losing fingers and arms and even legs for being outside in this weather. This is why you have to use common sense. I don't care if your employers are recommending that you come to work. If it's dangerously cold, you just can't go. I mean, you got to start asking yourself, should I lose my arm and my legs or possibly die in these sub-zero temperatures to go to work? Or should I just stay in where it's warm? Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.